We do it on Fridays. We like to look ahead at the weekend, what you can watch and how you can watch it, streaming or in the theaters. We do it with a guy who's been writing for the Marina Times and doing reviews of music and movies and television series for decades now. Right here out of San Francisco, he comes and goes on a rainbow. Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster. Welcome, sir.
Hey, I want to apologize to you, Mark, for having to do this by remote. I didn't mean to have to. Hey, look. There's an exciting new game making the rounds. It's called Insect Bite or Monkeypox. Are you out there playing this game or no?
Hey, you can joke about this monkeypox thing, but it's engulfing us. It's not a good thing.
Look. I think the Puritans are behind it. They don't want anyone monkeying around. You get it? You get it? It's the skin-to-skin
I do get it, and I wish I hadn't. All right, so first of all, as a Giants fan, big weekend. They're retiring Will Clark's number tomorrow. And
I'm a major fan of the thrill. I watched him. I watched that sweet swing. I saw him do amazing things against the Cubs in a playoff series. I was lucky enough to watch this man play. He and the rest of the team back in the late 80s. And, all I can tell you is I wish him nothing but greatness for the rest of his life as the Giants consultant. He's a hitting consultant. He's working with Joey Bart. Doesn't look good right now, Will, but get in there and take care of Joey's problems, will you? We're begging you, buddy.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Thank Mays. They ended their losing streak last night, which was great.
Yeah, I had to talk to Mario Alioto from the Giants, his VP at the Giants, and I thought, oh, my God, please let them win one game when he comes down. And sure enough, last night they did. But anyway, all right, on to the stuff that we can watch, Michael.
Okay. 13 Lives is a well-crafted and surprisingly effective docudrama directed by populist filmmaker Ron Howard. It tells the calamitous story of a youth soccer team on an excursion into a renowned cave in Thailand, and this is an outing that turns treacherous. The dozen kids and their coach are deep in the depths of the cave when a torrential downpour strikes and swiftly floods the tunnels down to its depths. And there were a lot of news stories about the plight of the team back then, and the world watched the subsequent rescue attempt led by a pair of veteran British divers and their colleagues who were supported by Thai Navy SEALs. There's already been at least one documentary, The Rescue, currently available on Disney+, but I hadn't seen that, and I knew no details prior to watching 13 Lives. Even if I knew more about this harrowing situation and its resolution, I still would have enjoyed the up-close and personal dramatization, which has the benefit of the initially unrecognizable Viggo Mortensen and Colin Farrell. You know these guys, right? They're on the screen in these characters. It took a beat for me to recognize them. They played the crucial divers, Richard Stanton and John Valanthan. And there's the more on-brand Joel Edgerton as their colleague, Dr. Richard Harris, not the actor. I was fascinated by the process and the daring of the divers facing real peril and by the determination of the SEALs in support and 10,000 volunteers needed to deal with the ticking clock of increasing rains and the impending monsoon season. 13 Lives is no Apollo 13, a fairly famous Ron Howard movie that's also a docudrama with 13 in the title. Coincidence? Lucky? I don't know. Anyway, 13 Lives, a solid 2 hours and 22 minutes worth watching, speaking of numbers, in select theaters this weekend, available on Amazon Prime Video next weekend. So mark that on your calendar.
That's a very resounding endorsement. By the way, in the first couple of lines you said it tells the blank story. What did you say?
I'm sure I used a word that merits a ding. I think I used the word harrowing. I think I said harrowing.
No, harrowing I wouldn't ding. It was something else. It was okay, you don't have it? You told it.
Calamitous.
Calamitous, exactly.
Supposing you brought the light in.
So calamitous gets a ding, though, please, Chris, if we can get that. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
It's always a calamity when I have to deal with you doing that. Anyway, Rebecca Hall. is on a mini roll when it comes to the psychological horror genre. The actress was perfectly and increasingly freaked out in last year's The Night House, which I praised on these very airwaves. Of course, she then scored big behind the camera as the screenwriter and director of Passing, which I thought was one of 2021's finest movies. And now she's back in front of the lens and in the depths of a new psycho thriller, Resurrection. She plays Margaret, who is good at her job, successful, also a single mom with a clever, independent-minded daughter about to leave home for college. But Margaret has trauma in her past related to a man named David, who she hasn't seen for 22 years. In fact, she tried to make sure she was as far removed from David and their problematic relationship as possible, but somehow David appears to have come back into Margaret's life. Or has he? Is he imaginary and Margaret is having a breakdown? Is he real but means her no harm? Or is he a genuine danger to Margaret and her daughter? Maybe none of the above. I don't know. I'm not telling other than to say that Hall is completely believable as a together woman who is now beset by figurative demons, inner and maybe outer, and the ever-accomplished Tim Roth is, as usual, fantastic as the looming figure of David, whether he's real or not. This is written and directed by Andrew Siemens. Resurrection is enveloping and disturbing in the best possible way, even if it might leave you in a quandary as it ends. It's in select theaters this weekend and available for streaming on demand next Friday. So that's also a solid piece of work.
Very, very cool. That's Resurrection. Quandary. Yeah, you're right. Okay, go ahead. What's next?
Okay. Who doesn't love a mystery other than the victim of the crime to be solved? They're not real happy about it. Anyway, who doesn't love comedy except, I don't know, grumpy, miserable people? Vengeance, Vengeance is the first movie directed by screenwriter and star B.J. Novak of the American version of The Office. And this is right in my wheelhouse. It's a noirish thriller about a New York City journalist who was roped into going to Texas for the funeral of a woman he briefly dated when she lived in the Big Apple. You know, they hooked up, but it wasn't a big deal. But once in the Lone Star State, he ends up investigating the suspicious circumstances of her death to advance his career in true crime podcasts. So this is pretty up-to-date stuff, right? If you're watching only Murders in the Building, you know about true crime podcasts. Anyway, maybe you listen to them, Mark. I don't know. But Vengeance.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's a decent social satire about the cultural divide between the red states and the blue states in contemporary America and whether or not it can be traversed. In The Office, Novak played the smarmy, ambitious temp Ryan Howard. You remember that character? And Ben Manilowitz, his character in Vengeance, shares some of Ryan's self-serving attitude, but Ben is certainly less of a buffoon and more complex than Ryan, and even sympathetic as he finds himself in over his head. As a lead actor, Novak only does himself proud here. I mean, he ably exploits his comic skills to engage and amuse, and as a filmmaker, he displays like a really sharp intellect and a really deft touch. He even tosses in a few canny takes on some of our country's top crises, such as political corruption, illegal immigration, and drug addiction. And, Novak is supported on screen by a comedy-wise cast that pops, including Ashton Kutcher, Issa Rae, Boyd Holbrook, and Dove Cameron. I really enjoyed Vengeance, an impressive directorial debut by Novak, and a damned good yarn all the way to the end. Vengeance is in theaters.
Wow. You really came through with some stuff that you liked today. 13 Lives is the docudrama about rescuing those 13 people. They're kids, right? Mostly? Weren't they mostly kids, Michael Snyder?
Yeah, there were 12 kids in the Thai youth soccer group. Thanks for paying attention to the news, Mark. I thought you were very, very topically.
I was simply. Well, I think I got it right for all the grief you're giving me, but it's 12 kids and then one adult. Anyway, docudrama.
It happened recently, too, and you know.
Yeah, it did. Viggo Mortensen and Joel Edgerton and others really liked it, Michael. Directed by Ron Howard. Resurrection is Rebecca Hall. It's a psycho thriller. Tim Roth's in it. He likes that, too. Vengeance is the noirish thriller. A suspicious death. It's directed by B.J. Novak, and it's got comic elements through it, right? It's comedy
Plenty
noir.
of it. It's as much a comedy as a film noir, and very astute look at contemporary America by the same token.
I'll give him a astute. I'll give him a ding. I'll also give him a ding, Chris, for using the word traversed when he was talking about the red and blue states. Yeah, thank you very much. You can find him at the Royal Grounds on Polk Street, where he writes his reviews for the Marina Times. Here on Fridays, he comes and goes on a rainbow. He's the Culture Blaster. Bye-bye, Michael.
So long, everybody.
Mm-hmm.